25th June 2013. Sometime around 2 in the afternoon. Heavy rains had returned to Uttarakhand. Swollen rivers had swept away entire villages. The death toll in the state had crossed 500. The pressure on the rescue forces was intense. Thousands were still crying out for help. They had to be ferried to safety at any cost.
The Uttarakhand floods have seen the biggest ever rescue op in our recent history. More than 6,000 armed personnel and several Indian Air Force men have been deployed to help bring back stranded people from higher locations to safer grounds. Also, a major part of the evacuation was done by air using temporary helipads. Choppers belonging to both the Army as well as the Air Force have brought back thousands of stranded people to safety, and they continue to do so, braving difficult terrains and rough weather.
"45 Air Force helicopters were spread out across the state for all the rescue work. The newly acquired Russian-built Mi-17 V5 helicopter was one such chopper on a rescue mission near Gaurikund. The chopper went down north of Gaurikund, the base camp for trek to Kedarnath. It was bringing back ITBP and NDRF men after they successfully completed the rescue effort in Kedarnath. The rescue helicopter had made 2 successful sorties to Kedarnath during the day. After about 45 minutes, the chopper couldn't be traced. It had gone off the radar. There was panic at the base camp. And then came the news that only added to the existing gloom. The chopper had crashed. All 20 on board were dead.
In the mountains, especially during the monsoon weather is always an issue. But at this point of time, we are not quite sure whether it was a weather or was there any technical problem. Fortunately, we have recovered the cockpit voice recorder, we have recovered the flight data recorder, and I think in a few days' time we'll get to know absolutely as to what exactly has happened.
This rescue mission was just one of the many executed by the armed forces to ensure safety for thousands. But the saviours had become victims. But the resolve of the team in Uttarakhand was still strong.
After the tragic incident in Gaurikund, officers who were posted here in Dharsu Air Base said that the best way to pay tribute to their fellow officers is to carry out sorties next day. Then in the morning at around 4:30, officers from Indian Air Force flew their choppers to rescue people who were still trapped in Gangotri and Yamunotri.
The real story of the biggest rescue mission in Indian history began several days back. At this time of the year, thousands of pilgrims make their way to Badrinath, Kedarnath, Yamunotri and Gangotri. But this time, the rains wreaked complete havoc in the state. Cloudbursts, floods and landslides brought on by incessant rain, leaving a trail of death and destruction. But it all just didn't end there. Thousands of pilgrims were trapped under rubble, several stranded in unreachable paths in mountainous regions. There was no way of getting to these people. And then the call was taken. The armed forces were asked to step in.
Under the most trying circumstances and battling all odds, our defence personnel single-handedly saved thousands of lives who will always remain indebted to them. Despite a mid-operation tragedy, the rotors kept whirring and aircrafts took to the skies because, as they said, they had a job to complete.
And from here on, the largest ever relief operation started taking shape. Indo-Tibetan Border Police, NDRF, the Indian Air Force and the Army had their task cut out. The team had to ensure the safe evacuation of thousands from one of the most hostile and inaccessible terrains in the world.